Hi, I'm just wondering, do you ever go to start a video and then wonder what on earth you're going to be talking about? That's how I felt today. I've had so many things going through my mind that have got my interest and I sort of feel quite strong about. But then it comes to thinking about doing a video and I just get lost. There's several reasons for this. I think the first reason is that I find that YouTube, as far as making the videos is concerned, to take it back a step, I enjoy making the videos and the process is quite easy and doing the editing and things like that. The thing that I find frustrating is the inconsistency that seems to be an inconsistency of the algorithms. Now, I say this because I'd done quite a lot of videos where I was getting, you know, maybe 4 or 5 views, 6 or 7, something like that. And so I did a change to the way that the topics that I was talking about. And I ended up doing one video that was about what it was like to grow up in the 1950s with guns in the house in New Zealand. Now, that one all of a sudden I got about 600 odd, more than 600 views on that. And I noticed too that the impressions were up to like 16,000 as opposed to the normally, you know, 150, 200, 250 that I get on all other videos. So I thought, I've obviously hit something here. Now, I wasn't quite sure whether it was going back to the 50s or whether it was the gun aspect of it that triggered, no, I didn't mean to say triggered, that made the algorithm suddenly take note and send it out to about 16,000 people. Now, I did another couple round about the same era with just experiences of that period, of my experiences. And the next one got a couple of hundred, I think, views, and then I was sort of back down to about 30, and then the videos now are sort of lucky to be getting, you know, like 10 or 11 views, and the impressions going out are about 100-200. And I think, what is it that I've done wrong? And or not that I've done wrong, but what is it that I've done different that suddenly has thrown the algorithm into a tailspin, or it did for a short time, and then it just tapered off again with me seemingly doing the same type of videos. Now, I was quite confused by this, and I thought, oh, what do I do now? And the one thing I do like talking about, and I know it's a bit of overkill at the moment, is I quite enjoy talking about politics, world politics, New Zealand, American politics, because there's always something going on there. But so is every other man and his dog on the internet at the moment or on YouTube is talking about politics. You can only sort of give so many of your own experiences that come to mind as being like a baby boomer back in the 50s and 60s, what it was like and things that you did. I mean, it's not a never-ending barrel of ideas there. I try and sort of make a bit of a blend of the two to see if the algorithm is still being triggered to send out, you know, if it's the sort of video that the algorithm decides that it wants to send out to other people that have got interests in these particular topics. And I've sort of come to a stage, I'm just lost. It's back down to, like, every video I put out is getting about 6 or 7 or 11 views, and I don't think I've had a new subscription. I got a few during that one video. I think I went up to about 38 subscriptions, and I haven't had a new one, haven't had another one in like probably the last 4 or 5 videos that I've done. And I'm thinking, what is it? I don't know if anyone else ever gets in this situation. Now, I understand that YouTube it's a marathon and not a sprint. And as much as you try to, to make the videos based on what you think people are wanting to listen to or to watch, 1 minute it's like, yep, that's the sort of thing that, is obviously an interest. And then you do it on a similar but slightly different topic, and then it just starts tapering off to nothing again. And I just get confused. And I can understand why I admire people who've got the patience to keep churning out videos day after day after day, or, 2 or 3 a week for 3 years. I was trying to do one a day, and it's a lot of work, and especially trying to think up all the topics that you're going to talk about. And then, because they're just like talking head videos like this, there's not too much editing involved. But then it still takes a fair chunk of the day. And when you're doing them every day and then you're seeing the results that you're not getting any traction at all, you think, what the hell am I doing this for? As I say, I'm not expecting great things, but consistency would be nice. It would be just good if you could. I know you probably can't. If the algorithm was able to be read and understood, I suppose everybody would read and understand it, and everyone would be ticking along. But it just seems so random. It just seems so random. And you think, you do a topic that you think people are going to be interested in, and it just bottoms. I just think, oh no. I think the problem is that I don't have a specific niche. I'm not a gardener. I don't, make flower arrangements or do anything that's, that I can do that's instructive. I don't sort of have a particular niche like that. And when you've spent most of your working life in the insurance industry, I mean, yeah, sure. I'm sure people want to hear about that. And it's not really a topic to talk about. So I'm just wondering if anyone else has come across this and you sort of think, what am I doing this for? I mean, I enjoy doing it, but I just sort of think, how long am I going to just keep talking to myself like this and getting nowhere? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm too impatient. Let me know what you think. I'm just curious to what other people think. As I say, I do enjoy the political scene, and there's something that's really got my attention a bit over the last week, and we all know what's happened over the last week. I watch a lot of videos. I follow quite a few different videos of things that I'm interested in. Now, there's been a few that I've watched for various reasons because of what their niche is. And they've been very apolitical. It's been focusing on the topic, and that's it. There's been no politics at all. And since the incident last week where a certain person met his death, I've been surprised how many of these people who keep saying that they're non-political have suddenly started making comments about that incident and have clearly, very clearly, made it known which side they're on, whether they're left or right in the political arena. And I just find it interesting that they're so strong in their views. For someone who's put out video after video on their niche to suddenly start popping up with political opinions and political views and making it very well known where they stand politically in the area, in this particular incident that happened recently, and basically what's whether they're left or right leaning as far as their political ideology is concerned. And I just found that interesting. It had an effect on me in that I really liked the videos that they put out, but suddenly when they're so strong in their views on the political aspect of what happened last week and their reasoning, it's sort of a little bit off-putting. I can understand if somebody wanted to say, there was a horrible thing happened last week, even though I'm not going to be political about it. I think it was really sad, that this happened. Don't condone violence, weapons and things like that. And, just wish the family, sending my prayers to the family. I could understand that. But suddenly to launch into their political opinion on who's at fault, why it happened, and what should happen to the people is the group, whether it be left or right, what should happen to them. I guess it just sort of stunned me a wee bit, because I thought it doesn't matter how much people want to push their niche that they want to do videos on. It just takes one incident for them to suddenly leap into the political arena and let it be known exactly where they stand on the matter. I'm just wondering too, as I say, I've got quite strong ideas on politics, especially being here in New Zealand. I'm able to do it from a distance, but even though it's a distance here from sort of the main hotspots around the world, it all affects us. So I naturally feel that I've got an iron in the fire as far as what's going on around the place. And I feel that because of that, and because of my age and experience, life experience, I feel quite justified in having a view on this and probably being able to talk about it. I'm quite open if I'm going to be talking on political issues. I'm not afraid to say which way I think. But that would be if I was putting out a video specifically with a political leaning. If I was doing a video on cabinetry, how to make a bathroom cabinet, and then suddenly I started launching into politics, I'd be thinking, oh, that's a bit strange, that's a bit odd. So yeah, I'm just wondering if other people have come across this with people who generally just put, good value videos out covering a particular niche, and then suddenly they've jumped into the political arena and been very forceful with their views and opinions on what should happen and who's at fault, etc., etc. I just get a bit confused every day when I front up to the camera here and I think, what am I going to talk about today? I know what I'd really like to talk about. I like to talk about the issues that are going on around the world, and I'm not afraid to say what my thoughts and, on which side of the political divide I am. I'm just wondering that everybody's doing it now, and it's probably going to be overkill. So anyway, that's my conundrum. My head's in a bit of a weird space. I'm just confused as to what to do going forward with my videos, because I've seen so much out of the ordinary with the videos that I would normally watch and what I'm watching in some of those particular ones at the moment. So this is confusing me a wee bit. And I think what happened last week over in America has been a major shift, and it's going to eventually have major impacts on America going forward. And I'm going to be following very closely, and I may or may not comment. Depends how much I feel that it involves the rest of the world, which includes us down here. So anyway, that's my thoughts. I'm sorry it's a bit rambly, But that's the way my head is at the moment. So I thought, if my head's in a scramble, then I'll do a scramble video. So that's what I've done. So anyway, on that note, I will get going and try and work at trying to get my head unscrambled. And if I succeed, I'll probably be back tomorrow, hopefully with something that's a wee bit more streamlined and less scrambled. So in the meantime, if you would like to take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Okay then, bye.